I know I'll speak slowly for the liberal mathematicians on the other side of the house because as the Globe and Mail...
Doug Ford is in trouble. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today, the polling numbers coming out for Doug Ford. It's not good. We're still talking about Carney's economic update. It's just sending waves across Canada because, well, it's a disaster. We've got Pierre annihilating Carney in the House of Commons on this. We've got a bunch of other stuff. Let's jump into this. Starting this episode off, we got Mathematicians here with the latest liaison strategy poll. This is for Ontario, and we see the poll here. 38% for the Liberals, 36% for Doug Ford's PCs, and you're seeing the NDP going up +2 to 20%. So Doug Ford has now lost the lead in Ontario. This is the first time in a long time. And mottoed out here, you can see there's 55 seats for the Liberals, plus 41, 40 seats for the PCs, minus 40. From Doug Ford's aspirational goal of taking over the federal Conservatives to this, I wonder how he's feeling now. He got outed as a Liberal. Well, he might as well switch parties and try to run for leadership of the Liberal Party at this point. And we got Ezra Levant posting this, so we've got a graph showing the catastrophic fall here of Doug Ford's PCs. Ezra Levant saying Doug Ford has been in a free fall since the last election. The private jet fiasco just added an exclamation point. Either the party renews itself from within or voters are going to destroy it in the next election. I think he's too selfish to step down. Yeah, I mean, really, this is a good thing to get rid of Doug Ford. It had to happen, get a real Conservative in Ontario running this party, but yeah, I don't think he's going to step down anytime soon. We got this one on Polymarket showing BC Conservative Party leadership election. This is just people betting on who they think will win, but we've got Carrie Lynn Finley here currently leading at 37%. It's this light blue line right here. Caroline Elliott is this dark blue line right here. Millibar at 16, Yuri Fulmer at 12, Ian Black at 9. Harman Bangu, 1%, considering he's out of the race. Not taking that bet. Got this one from Trending Politics. Fraser Institute report says Carney PM's goal of doubling Canada's non-US exports to $600 billion a year in 10 years is likely out of reach. Yeah, because Carney's a liar, and we know that's not what he's going to do. We've got Kirk Lubimov posting this. This is the middle finger to the future generations. Canada public debt charges are set to grow from $54 billion this year over to $80 billion in just a few years. That's a 50% increase. That's not including new spending, only includes the cost of Liberal debt. All goes to bondholders and doesn't pay for any services. This is future generations carrying the debt, the cost of borrowing money it took us to pay for free services like pharmacare, dental care. All this stuff is not free. The future generations will have to pay for it. This is absolutely staggering here. So 54 billion up to 80. The problem with this is average Canadian who's not dialed in with politics does not understand how outrageously bad this is. Now, with Carney's economic update here, we've got Ryan Gerritsen posting this clip of CTV. Rob Russo saying the quiet part out loud.
I was struck by something in the document as well. The Alberta bounce, 2/3 of planned increases in private capital spending coming from Alberta. At a time when Albertans are about to consider whether or not they should stay in the country, right, they are being told that they are responsible for a lot of the prosperity in this country.
Yeah, somehow I don't think Alberta separatists are going to get excited about Carney's economic update. And essentially what he's saying here is Alberta is responsible for 2/3 of the increase in investment in Canada. The increases are being done in Alberta because it's a place of prosperity. That's a lot of weight on the shoulders of Alberta. Once again, the Liberals will demonize the oil and gas industry all the time, carbon taxes, this, that, and the other. But when it comes to prosperity and the numbers and looking good, they have no problem then standing shoulder to shoulder and saying, look what we did. We got the Reclamaire posting this. Do Canadians understand that government is bragging about a lower than expected deficit because they took more of your money? Francois-Philippe Champagne shaved $11.5 billion off a near record 2025 deficit due to, in part, higher tariff revenues. Yeah, they're taking our money. I've mentioned this, like trying to buy a backpack from America and it costs a couple $100, and if with tariffs it would cost $400. I don't know, pay $200 in tariffs, so I'm not going to buy the backpack. Well, that extra $200 goes right to the government. It's a tax on us. That's how they're making money. They're taxing us. They were taxing food coming from America before until they took those tariffs off. That's how bad this government is. Moving ahead, look at this from the Toronto Star. It says Carney government eyes privatizing airports to attract investment, cut travel costs. This is exactly what I brought up. Nobody's talking about this. I said Brookfield's going to be getting these 99-year leases or however they want to structure it, get these cash cow assets, buy them. Carney's going to reduce the fees on this, write it into law so the airport authority fees get lowered. Brookfield buys it, then it's even bigger cash cow. And now the media is starting to catch up.
In the early stages of a process with airport authorities and other partners to determine the best way forward. These are Canadians' assets, and therefore the proceeds will belong to Canadians.
Our assets, these are, as Kirk points out, Liberal mouthpieces have been spreading propaganda on how if elected Conservatives will privatize things, CPC couldn't even come close to this subject. And here's the Liberals doing it themselves. They have our taxpayer-funded airports that are run independent and they run at cost. They run efficient, and then they're going to turn these into cash cows for Brookfield. Increase the rates, reduce the fees, sell them off to Brookfield. Carney gets a bunch of money. Brookfield gets great money-making assets. This is not good for Canada. They're going to be selling off our assets, our bridges, tolls, airports, you name it, big infrastructure stuff. Brookfield wants it. Jumping over to the House of Commons, we've got quite the session here. Pierre absolutely demolishes Carney.
Mr. Speaker, it's just that this Liberal Prime Minister has gone from writing Justin Trudeau's policies to plagiarizing his talking points. Actually, that's not fair to Justin Trudeau.
So how this session started is back and forth in French. He blasted him a couple times on stealing Trudeau's policies.
The Liberal Prime Minister has done the impossible, and that is he has doubled the deficit that Trudeau left behind. More cost, more debt, more taxes, more on the national credit card, and more interest payments for Canadians. So once again, with Canadians spending $3,000 per family on interest for the debt, is there any limit on the Liberal credit card?
Yeah. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, in the face of a tariff war, in the face of an actual war, this government has reduced the deficit by $11 billion.
That is not accurate. That's a lie. He should not be able to lie like that. He's not reducing the deficit. If he were to actually reduce it, the deficit would have to go down. He's increasing the deficit at a lesser rate than what earlier projected. And the reason they're doing this is exactly this. So he can lie to Canadians. They're going to get this soundbite that he reduced the deficit by $11 billion. This is a dirty Liberal tactic they're doing here.
This government has reduced the level.
You can see right there, the duper's delight.
This government.
Right there, duper's delight. He knows that he's completely bamboozling Canadians here, and he's using Canadians. This guy's a charlatan.
This government has reduced the level of debt across the entire forecast horizon. This government is on track to deliver $60 billion of savings for Canadians. This government's on track to reduce spending on consultants by 20%. This government will build Canada strong.
Here. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the deficit Justin Trudeau had provided for this year was $31 billion. Yesterday, the Liberal Prime Minister provided a deficit of $65 billion. 65 is bigger than 31.
Yes.
And if you read, I know I'll speak slowly for the Liberal mathematicians on the other side of the House, because as the Globe and Mail said, in the upside-down land of the Liberals, a spending spree is a spending cut. Blowing a windfall of billions of dollars is prudent, and failing to prepare for a fiscal storm is, well, just good.
That's absolutely savage. I'll speak slow for the Liberal mathematicians over there. I don't know who just yelled Trudeau over on the Liberal side, but I mean, these clowns can't get away with this stuff.
Well,
I don't know if they cut his time short, but he's just standing there like they did.
time's up. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Your time is up, Pierre. In many ways, it's up. Mr. Speaker, I won't go there. Mr. Speaker, this government's focused on affordability. Half of the measures in the update are to make life more affordable Canadians. Reducing, and June 5th, look forward 12 million Canadians to getting a check to help with groceries and essential.
And reducing the luxury tax on private jets because Brookfield needs that. This guy's not helping anyone but himself and his cronies.
Cost of gasoline, but we're building the country strong for all, including Canada's youth, the biggest investment in apprenticeships in our history.
The
These liberals are like the Bourbon dynasty. They learn nothing and they forget nothing. Over the last decade, they told us that if we racked up the credit card, that somehow it would grow the economy. What do we get? Got the worst growth in the G7, the highest housing costs in the G7, the worst household debt in the G7, the worst investment per worker in the G7. And now it's deja vu all over again with the Prime Minister repeating exactly the same policies. More debt, more costs, more taxes. He's just another liberal. Will this Prime Minister recognize that Canadians are paying for his mistakes?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians will not forget that the member opposite voted against childcare, voted against pharmacare, voted against dental care, voted against the groceries and essentials benefit that Canadians are going to see $500 checks in a few weeks. Mr. Speaker, Canadians will see the second strongest growing economy in the G7. They would like to forget. Is my time up?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, this Liberal Prime Minister has been wrong about every major economic issue of the last decade. He was wrong to push for bigger and broader carbon taxes. Wrong to say that we should leave 50% of our oil in the ground. Wrong to oppose the Northern Gateway pipeline. Wrong to say COVID would lead to deflation. Wrong to say money printing would not raise the cost. Wrong to say that affordability is the best that it's been in a decade. He keeps getting it wrong, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, he repeated the same mistakes. When will he realize that the more he gets it wrong, the more the Canadian people have to pay?
The Right Honourable.
This is good stuff here because Canadians will see this. There'll be small clips of this going around and Canadians will see those points and start looking them up like, oh, is that why things are so bad? This Carney guy is not that good?
Mr. Speaker, wrong on crypto, wrong on Brexit. I could go on. But you know what this government is right on? You know what this government is right on? It's about cooperative federalism. It is working with the great province of Alberta to make sure that Canadian energy powers the world. It's about ensuring our competitiveness. It's about working with the province of Ontario, a premier that picks up my phone call and works with us to put Darlington new nuclear into power. It is about building Canada strong for all.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. First off, the comment about a premier picking up his phone call, was that directed directly at Danielle Smith? Is that why there's no MOU progressing there? I don't know. That's what I'm pulling from that. Now, going back to the statement about crypto, I mean, Carney's a complete buffoon. He realizes we can just look this stuff up, right? I already know the answer to this. It says here, Bitcoin lets Canadians opt out of inflation. This is what Poilievre said back March 28th, 2022. He said this. Here we've got the price of Bitcoin. It said March 22nd, 2022. So we're looking right here. So the price was around $46,000 for a Bitcoin. You can already see on the screen here, $76,000. This was said just yesterday. Why would he make such a dumb statement when clearly that's almost double your money from when Poilievre said that to today? And if we look at the high, I mean, this went up to 112, almost triple your money based on what Poilievre said. I don't understand Carney throwing this stuff out there. Does he just think people won't look this stuff up? Anyone who's invested in Bitcoin knows full well that Poilievre was right. Now, as for the Brexit claim, we've got Pierre Poilievre back in 2016, so 10 years ago, tweeting out this, Canada should immediately conclude free trade deal with an independent UK. He was very for Brexit, and we've got another one here that they saved on this ResearchGate website. Trudeau with Andrew Scheer is bringing far-right American-style politics north this election season and must be stopped. And then it's got C-word change, Brexit with check marks, all these other ones here. They've been doing this same thing year after year. This is the Liberals' playbook. In reality, what happened here, so Mark Carney predicted there would be thousands of jobs lost with Brexit, and it turned into a fear campaign. In reality, it says markets doubt Carney's claim to have saved 500k UK jobs. So when the jobs were not lost, Carney took credit for this because that's the kind of guy he is. Look at this. It says last week, as the BBC reported, Bank of England Governor Mark Carney explained to an audience in Birmingham that the bank had saved the UK economy after the Brexit vote in June. Between 400,000 and 500,000 jobs could have been at risk if the bank had not taken action after the referendum, he said. We are willing to tolerate a bit of an overshoot on inflation to avoid unnecessary unemployment. We move interest rates down to support the economy. Imagine that. How wonderful that one man and his monetary Policy Committee could save between 400,000 and 500,000 jobs with just a speech and an interest rate cut and more money printing. They completely mocking Carney here. He has been a liar and a charlatan in every aspect of his career. There's only one problem, as the chart shows above. Markets didn't applaud by buying more UK government bonds and so reducing interest rates. They sold off again, red line, panicked by the idea that debt was rising while growth was slowing and the currency falling, blue line. Now this doesn't show up here. It's an old article and this graphic won't load, but so basically they're pointing out there that Carney just lied to everyone. He took credit for this and Polyev was basically right. So we can see here Britain to enter recession with 500k jobs lost if it left the EU. New Treasury analysis shows. So this came from the Bank of England here, fear-mongering people that they would lose 500,000 jobs. Then it was proven that that didn't happen. Then Mark Carney takes credit for it not happening with his interest rate cut and printing money. We've got impacts of Brexit, referendum on UK employment, a synthetic control method approach. It says overall we find that the Brexit referendum had little effect on UK employment or unemployment rate. When Mark Carney was running a fear campaign that it would, he's using the same tactics, the same fear tactics he used in the UK that he's using here. So after Brexit, this line here, this is export of goods in the UK. United Kingdom is this blue line and the G7 is this orange line. Carney said everything was going to collapse, the jobs, the economy, it stagnated and then it went back up. This is export of goods. The one good thing that could have happened to the UK, as in leaving the EU, Brexit, Carney did not want to happen, and that one thing helped the economy in the UK. And then this charlatan has the audacity to lie to Canadians in the House of Commons about it and about crypto. Jumping back to the House of Commons, we got a back and forth between Carney and the Bloc leader. Blanchette brings up a very serious problem we have in these new tariffs that are hitting a lot of the steel, aluminum, auto industry. Anything to do with metal, basically. Just listen to Carney's response here.
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, these past few days, the Prime Minister claimed that 85% of Canadian exports to the U.S. were protected under CUSMA, and that tariffs that are applied to Canada are among the lowest that the U.S. has on anyone. But actually, it turns out that they are among the highest of all tariffs applied to any country in the world, especially as of April 6th. There are no measures to address this in yesterday's economic update document. Will the Prime Minister fix this and help businesses?
So he's talking about these new tariffs that Donald Trump came in with, tariffs on the entire value of a good if it has metal or steel or whatever in it, which is going to completely destroy a bunch of industries in Canada.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I thank my colleague for his question and for his interest in this situation. The government is currently working on measures to help workers and businesses in the steel, aluminum, copper, and derivative product industries, and we will announce those measures in the coming days. The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, that sounds like a good news, but we need to be careful because on April 6th, the United States changed how they calculate tariffs. I asked the Prime Minister whether he would take action. Radio silence. Then I asked him again the following week, and he told me that there would be measures to support businesses in the economic update. There were no such measures. So can I believe him this time?
He's leaving Canadians hung out to dry, and he's going to sit here with a smug look on his face. Like, this is serious stuff, and you can tell that the Bloc leader is genuinely worried about this because they've got a bunch of steel and aluminum and auto production in Quebec.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker,
What's so funny about this to this guy? Like, this is not funny. Carney's heading down a very slippery slope right now, and he is drumming up the frustration that everyone felt with Trudeau, and I can feel it. It is just roaring back very quickly. So I'm working on a bunch of different plans here to go forward, not only for the next election. I'm prepping for it right now. I'm getting the Carney lie tracker up and running again. I missed a bunch of them. Anytime I see them now, I'm just filling it out right away so we can start printing that out. We're going to start printing out far off ripoffs. We're going to be printing out conflicts of interest. We're going to be educating Canada about this guy to the point where he will want to leave as Prime minister. That's the goal, is to get him out of here before the end of his term.
Always a good idea to believe what the Prime Minister of Canada says. The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, we lived through 10 years of Justin Trudeau. So what I deeply hope is for the Prime Minister to take the hand I extended to him in a press conference earlier today. Setting aside partisanship or putting on a show at Parliament, we need to focus on this extreme distress of businesses. We want these businesses who are hit hard by American tariffs to receive significant immediate relief.
Monsieur le Président.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, myself and the Minister of Industry and our other colleagues, we guarantee Canadian businesses and workers who are impacted by new American threats and new tariff calculations, we guarantee them that the action we will take to help them will be enough, more than enough, and it will be swift.
This is unreal. I mean, the bloc leader here is genuinely worried about the situation, and Carney just says, you should always trust the Prime Minister. Like, the guy's a complete clown. Now, jumping out of the house, I want to bring up, a couple days ago, I discovered some information on Mark Carney that's tied a lot of stuff together, and with all the other research I've done, it's really put this puzzle together. I have a good sense of what he's doing with his Brookfield Global Transition Fund 1, and I know the Liberals are watching this. I know they're probably wondering what I know. Well, I'm going to wait until I have a full video on this. I'm still pulling the threads on this. I just want to give you guys an update. I'm really uncovering some serious stuff here, and as I pull these threads in all these different directions, they just keep going and going. So as I fill this stuff out, the video I'll produce on this just gets longer and longer, but I just thought I'd give you guys a little update on that. And then this video, I want to start a new tradition here, as long as I can find them, is putting good news at the end of the video. So with that, we've got this clip here of Japanese star Kazuma Katamoto introduce a new tradition into his team, the Toronto Blue Jays. Before every game, players stand in a circle and share what they are grateful for. It is now one of the best traditions in Major League Baseball. It's not all bad in Canada. It's not all bad in North America or in the world. This is good stuff.
In Anaheim, where Okamoto, translator Yusuke Oshima, Eloy Jimenez, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. would huddle in a circle before the game. Each took turns sharing what they were thankful for in that moment, whether it be humorous or serious. From there, others started to join in. We've grown accustomed to seeing everyone have customized handshakes, but Schneider told me the more we can do things like this with him is really good for him.
This is awesome. Sharing things that you're thankful for has been proven to enlighten your mindset and mood. Does better mood help you play better? I guess depends. Some guys need to be angry. Do they all say, I'm thankful I'm not on the Mets?